When we hear the stories of other people's journeys, their successes, their struggles, how they really kind of got their hands dirty and got where they are today, it really can encourage us. It really can give us some perspective on our own journeys. And so that's what we want to do today. We're going to talk to my friend and one of our founding board members, Tim Shrout. He's going to share some things that I think will energize and encourage you on the journey you're walking.
Marketplace skills are missionary skills.
So if there's an up-and-coming entrepreneur out there, he's tinkering with an idea, or he's tinkering with an investment idea, how do you decide if a business idea or opportunity is worth pursuing?
Okay, the answer is going to be a little difficult because I've always been kind of a gut guy. Okay,
That's fair.
Just to be frank.
Yeah.
And I think there's a certain amount of talent in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if talent's the right word, but characteristic of an entrepreneur that is successful is, do you have a good judge of character? Do you have a good judge of research? Do you have a good judge of an idea and what it can and can't do?
Yeah.
And sometimes, as in my synthetic cell situation, you bite off more than you can chew. Sometimes you don't. So I've won more than I've lost, which is the way you want to keep it.
Right.
Like you say, you will lose some. But I think for me, I really try to keep my eyes on trends. What's going on in the world, how is technology changing things. Like an insurance company that I invested in, small group of guys, all they needed was $100,000 and some office space, right? Remodel Health.
Yep.
And great group of Christian guys. And we've grown that from a few guys using my office to outgrowing my office.
Right.
Now they've got their own space, and now they're looking to exit out of that probably in the next year or two.
Yep.
And I think it'll be a big exit.
Yeah.
And they've just grown that through technology. It's an insurance business. What's new in insurance? Nothing much, but they came up with a technology platform.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Progressive with auto. It's kind of like that for healthcare. So again, it sounds like an easy idea, but they've got a very, very proprietary software piece that does a job that no one else can do. So I saw that in those guys. They're smart guys, and it's worked out wonderfully. And again, they're good Christian guys. And I'm not saying you got to be a good Christian guy to be a good business guy.
Right.
It does help. I mean, it gives me some level of comfort if they're truly good guys.
Yeah.
And most of the deals I've gotten involved with, I don't make that like a litmus test, but it's part of the program, right? Because I know if they're at least, stable family people, have, whether it's Christian religion or AG or whatever, as long as they're committed to a proper religion.
Yeah.
It gives me some good feelings that, hey, these are quality individuals and they've got some good moral standards. So
I had a venture capitalist tell me one time, I asked him a similar question, and he said, really for him it was two things. Is the idea good? Like, do I buy into the idea? Is the model right? But then exactly what you're saying, do I believe in the people?
the person, yeah.
And really for him, both of those things had to be present because he had invested in bad ideas that good people brought him, and he had invested in good ideas that people maybe not that were bad but weren't capable of maybe
Performing
at the level that they needed.
And I see that all the time. I get calls constantly, and I got one the other day from another insurance, property casualty insurance kind of a thing. And after 15 minutes on the call, I realized this was not the guy. His idea was fuzzy.
Yeah.
At best, had not been thought through, in my opinion, totally. And him as a person, he was pretty wishy-washy on answers. And I'm like, okay, I can't invest in something like that. And I gave him a list of things I had to have to continue the conversation. I've never heard back. So I think my gut was good because he realized when he got off the phone, I'm not going to get this guy to invest.
Yeah, when you talk about gut, though, I think there is something to that, but gut actually comes from experience. It comes from wisdom.
Yeah, it's not mystical.
Yeah, it's not some mystical thing, right?
No.
Maybe a little of the Holy Spirit involved in that process as well, but that does a gut response does come from
doing the due diligence over
Right.
a long period of time.
Yeah, in your brain, you're ticking off the Rolodex of what makes a good business, right? Is this guy a good business
Right.
driver? Is the idea
Right.
a good business to be in? Is the market a good business for the idea to come to? Is there financing available for it? I mean, there's all kinds of things. Sometimes you just take a flyer. I'm kind of more of a angel investor, early risk than a venture capital guy who's taking risk, but the idea is pretty well baked.
Yeah.
So it's again kind of getting back to that what gets your juices flowing
Yeah.
kind of thing, I enjoy the angel part, and you're gonna miss a lot more on the angel parts
Yeah.
because they may just not work out. But it's still the same process, whichever one you're going through. It's just a matter of how much risk you're willing to take on an idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you talked about, you study trends, you see, you look at the world, you look what's happening in the world. If you were going to talk to some other maybe potential entrepreneurs, what do you see happening out there that you think A, is interesting, and B, maybe could be harnessed for, kingdom work in the world? I mean, is there something out there that is intriguing?
Well,
right
I mean,
now?
I think any business, any profitable business
Yeah.
can be harvested, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's real estate that you're
Right.
moving along with in a small amount of cash flow and then you sell it for a ton of money, or whether it's a high net income producing software company that's just
Right.
making it like crazy with 90% margins. Any of those things, I think, can be used as a tool like we're using with CRF.
Yeah.
It's just a matter if that owner wants to take a piece of that action and put it into a nonprofit. It's a pretty simple process, right? In fact, it's even simpler with some of that stuff. So, so I think as far as I don't think it matters what kind of business it
Sure.
is. It can fit our template of
Yeah.
how we've done things, and of course, taking that further and enticing the countries we go to start their own businesses that we help support, so they're being self-supportive, which is kind of the part I'm sure you'll talk about with others. But yeah, that's the whole circle. So I don't think there's any barriers to that situation. As far as trends go, software right now is just so hot. The Chat GPT stuff. I don't know if you've paid much attention to that.
I played around with it. It creeped me out.
Well, we've got another company that we are doing things with right now that we're a big part of, and it will utilize Chat GPT, some of those type AI things for it, but it goes a few steps further in the actual help of a business as far as interacting with your accounting system and stuff. So it's kind of I look at the current Chat AI stuff as a user interface more than I do a functional kind of a thing. But that's going to change pretty quickly, probably. So yeah, the company that we're working with right now, I'm really encouraging them. In fact, we got a call today to really step it up, because the problem with software is what's great today is worth nothing 2 years from
Isn't
now,
that the truth?
right? I mean, you look at Exact Target here locally.
Yeah.
Those guys made hundreds of millions apiece. This company sold for $2.4 billion, I think it was. I think if that company existed today versus 5-6 years ago when they sold, I'm not sure it'd even be in business.
Wow.
If it was, no one would be paying $2.4 billion for it unless they changed drastically from what they were doing at the time.
So you really have to keep tabs on. I mean, especially nowadays, things are they're
They're
rolling
so quick,
so fast.
And when you hear guys like Bill Gates and Eric Schmidt and all these really brilliant software guys talk about, this is the new internet. I mean, this is as big a deal as the internet was or PC's invention.
Yeah.
That's scary, right? Because now you're sitting there thinking, okay, what do I have going on right now that's going to be obsolete in a year? So, health insurance, the computerization of health insurance, computerization of medical records, all that stuff's huge. So those are kind of the, esoteric, software things that I think are really hot. Real estate's always good. You're always going to have apartments. You're always going to have hotels. We were in the hotel business too. And all that stuff's always going to have a place, I think. But I would argue we could take any industry out there that someone has an interest in or wants to get involved with missions more, and show them quite quickly how they could benefit from a personal standpoint, mission standpoint, tax standpoint, inheritance standpoint.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, maybe give us a like, a comment, share it with some friends. If you're interested in more resources from the Stone Table, you can find those at thestonetable.org/start. Before you go, hey, check out this other video. We'll see you next time.